Hello, welcome back to another review podcast with the Transfer Portal CFB presented by NoContextCFB. Week 13 is gone. The regular season is all but over. I mean, there's a few games, but Buffalo, Army, Navy, whatever. Regular season is over. The coaching carousel is heating up, dude. We've got a lot to talk about before we get into it, please make sure to like and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, follow us, rate us on Spotify and Apple. It means a lot. And let's get into it, Andrewster. Stuff is happening in the sport.
Yeah, we don't really get a break from the college football news the day after the regular season pretty much ends. The coaching carousel does not take long. Obviously, we've had a few smaller moves. Charlotte hired their guy, I want to say like a week and a half ago. But now we've got some big moves going on. And the first one is happening in Madison, Liam.
Yeah, dude. Fickle time in Madison. Some people thought maybe Luke Fickle would stay at Cincy with the move to the Big 12 happening. But I always thought it'd be on the move. I thought it'd be Nebraska. Obviously, that ain't the case because they got a different fish. But I love the hire for Wisconsin. I think Fickle's a really dang good ball coach. You're going to get a lot of toughness, effort, and just solid play on any given Saturday. I like the hire for Wisconsin. And in the stinky division, yeah, they're going to compete all the time.
Yeah, he's a good head coach. My worry is that they think that this hire is going to fix the program. It's not. They've got problems bigger than head coach. And we know about this with their whole
Mm-hmm.
they don't recruit thing. How Paul Chris talked about they didn't have a recruiting department for the last like 8 months
Awful.
of his tenure. That's got to change. Luke Fickle's a big enough name. He's going to bring in good players, but they got to start getting all the top guys in their state. That's something that they aren't amazing at. Obviously, Wisconsin, it's not going to be very easy to go out of state and get top talents from like Florida or California. You're not going to be able to do that when you've got, the USCs are going to be dominating California. Miami, as bad of a team they are, they're going to recruit well. They're not someone that can do that. They just got to start winning the Midwest. And if
Mm-hmm.
they can do that, they're going to be a very good team. Fickle's a very good coach. My one worry with this hire is Ohio State. We'll talk about them a little bit later with that game. But if Ohio State ends up moving on from Ryan Day, why would Luke Fickle not leave Wisconsin in a second to take that job?
He would be on the next charter. He'd be on the private jet out to Columbus.
Yeah, and that's my worry. Are you going to hire a guy that you don't know if he's going to be there for longer than 2 years? Because look, Wisconsin is a good program. Ohio State, you can win a national title at. Wisconsin, you can't. So we got to realize, yeah, we're hiring a big name, but we also got to be like, okay, let's get some good coordinators in the door so that if he does leave, we have a backup plan because they had their backup plan for the last few years. And look, as impressive as a defensive coordinator he was, his time as the interim was not as impressive.
Mm-hmm. And he'll be, you have to think Leonard is going to be gone for a bigger and better job
Oh, I
by
bet he
NFL,
is kicking himself for not taking the Packers job.
which he could still get.
He probably could still get it. This isn't an NFL podcast, but man, Joe Barry,
Yeah, I referenced another one of the other fish that took a job at Big Ten school, Nebraska, Matt Rule. What do you think of it?
okay. I have an opinion that I don't know if many people have. I was talking with my good friend Amani about this. We think Matt Rule is a very good head coach, especially in college. He did great things at Temple. He did great things at Baylor. For as good of a head coach as he is it worth paying 30 plus mil to just get him in the door?
No,
I
why not? I don't love the hire. I'll say that.
I think
I'm
it's
not that big on the hire at all, and I know a lot of people are, and all the rule slogans are popping up for Nebraska. Like there are, all those are garbage, by the way. But yeah, I don't love the hire.
yeah, after Nebraska fans say how stupid slogans are, get ready for them. But yeah, I don't know. It's like I think he's a good head coach. I think it's one of the best hires they could have made. It's a lot better than some of the hires they could have made. They could have made some disastrous hires.
Bob.
But yeah, I don't think anyone's hiring Bill O'Brien, man. I think
Someone's going to.
no, he's going to be an offensive assistant at Texas next year under Sark.
You say that now till he's getting a head coaching job.
If he gets a head coaching job, he's coaching the the D3 St. John Johnnies. Like, look,
I,
Matt Rule is a good head coach. I don't think it necessarily makes Nebraska a power, but at the same time, no coach is doing that right now, unless
yeah,
they
I
were
think it's
to
like a
poach.
double. I think it's a double. I think there's a lot of upside,
Yeah, they hit
but
a double.
yeah, I think that this could go as mediocre as could be, and we could be looking at another head coaching hire for Nebraska in like 5 years or whatever,
I,
4 or 5 years. But I mean,
I,
look, what is Rule even? I don't know, man. It's just we've seen him. There's no way that this is another stepping stone for him, right? There's
no,
no
like
way because he's
I,
done it before.
I think that there is a possibility that if he does well at Nebraska, like say he gets them to Bo Pelini range, 8, 9 wins a year, an NFL team could be like, okay, Carolina's just a dysfunctional organization. They have been ever since they made that Super Bowl run. Maybe he's a better coach than what was advertised in Carolina, and maybe they give him a shot. I don't see that happening, but if it were to happen, I wouldn't be all too shocked. I mean, some NFL organizations make the stupidest decisions, but I kind of disagree with you. I don't think this is a 4 or 5 year move. I think that Nebraska has been in the dumps for so long with these 3, 4, 5 win seasons. If they get back to 7 or 8 win range, think of this as a Florida State situation. They've
Mhm.
been in the dumps over the last few years, and they just went 9-3 with Mike Norvell. They are over the moon. Just beat Florida for the first time in 3 matchups. If they get back to that range where Nebraska can beat Iowa more than once every 7 years, and they can maybe make a run back for the Big Ten title game like they did against Wisconsin, which we don't need to bring up that game. I'm sorry, Kenzie, if you're listening, but no, I don't think this is a stepping stone because if a bigger job opens up, is someone going to really look at Nebraska winning 8 games? I don't
I
know.
mean,
I don't think it's all
I
too
don't think they'd
impressive.
look at it like that. I think they'd look at it like Matt Rule has been able to revitalize another program and kind of get them back on the right track, which he did at Temple with 2 10-win seasons, which he did at Baylor, taking them from 1 win to 7 to 11. Like, I think they're looking at that, not Nebraska's got 8 wins and they're in second place in the Big Ten West. Like, I think they're looking at the Rule arc and what could
Yeah,
be, but I don't know. This hire just does not move me like that much. Like, I don't know. This hire and the Fickle hire, like, I think the Fickle hire is better for Wisconsin. I'd be more afraid of them in the Big Ten than Nebraska for the next few years. Maybe I'm tripping.
I the only reason I would say I would be a little bit more worried about Nebraska is they have more pull in the portal.
Yeah,
Like,
that's fair.
and also Fickle, I don't think he's going to be able to like pull anybody from Cincinnati to go with him because that Cincinnati team's not that talented. Like there's no one on that Cincinnati team that could make an immediate impact on Wisconsin. Like obviously Matt Rule is coming from the NFL, so he's not going to be able to bring anybody to transfer. But Nebraska is a big enough brand where they can get good guys in recruiting and they can get like good guys in the portal. I mean, Trey Palmer came from LSU. He had over 1,000 yards this year, and he's off to the NFL.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm curious to see what both those coaches do in the portal. Like, does does Nebraska make a push for a Keaton Mitchell?
You know what? At this rate, with some stuff that could possibly happen, Wisconsin might need to be in that because Braylon Allen. I'm going to sound biased. I don't even want to talk about Wisconsin. I'm going to sound biased.
Okay, but just don't.
No, I'm not biased, but I'm a Minnesota fan talking about Wisconsin.
So
Like,
you're not gonna say what those at home are thinking. Okay.
okay, Braylon Allen is going to transfer. He did not want to play yesterday to further his injury.
So there it is. I think
Yeah,
that was okay to say.
yeah. I mean, none of my stuff is ever biased unless I'm like saying, stupid stuff as an obvious joke.
Hmm. Yeah. A lot of other head coaching stuff happened. I think most notably has to be David Shaw opting
Yeah.
to step down as opposed to getting fired or released from his contract, but like stepping down.
I want to commend him on that. I want to
Yeah.
commend David Shaw. I've been very critical of him this year. I think that, Stanford obviously did not have a good year at all. What they finished 3-9. That is not good.
Unbelievable.
I I'm going to sound hypocritical for a second. I don't think David Shaw's a bad coach. I just think Stanford no longer cares about football. And it's unfortunate, but look, he makes some bad decisions. If he chose to go back into coaching and take, a group of five job, or maybe he takes a coordinator job, I think he would be very successful. I just think Stanford's in a spot right now where they don't care about football.
I agree with that. I don't think Stanford is near all in on football. Them and Cal are kind of just whatever with the athletics
Yeah.
and some athletics at this point. But yeah, I commend David Shaw for like it's sad though, because like
Yeah.
this is a dude that he was one of my favorite coaches growing up. Like
Same.
dude, it's tough. It's tough, like having to root for a Stanford team and everything, but because of who he was, like David Shaw, I loved rooting for him and loved rooting for his teams, loved watching him play. It's just kind of like that. It's kind of like what's happening in college basketball with so many of the high profile coaches having to step down where the game is just outgrowing them. And maybe that's happened here with Stanford with the whole recruiting game and everything for Shaw and him just like at Thanksgiving saying like the one thing I kept hearing in my mind is it's time, it's time, it's time. There's not a better way to put it. Like it was just time for Stanford and Shaw to get pulled apart, and it stinks. I will love to see Shaw getting back on his feet and everything, but it ain't happening. He says he's not looking for another job. Who knows if that's true, but we know
Yeah.
what is true. Whether he's on NFL Network or whatever platform he's with,
He's
dude is going to
amazing.
crush the
Bro,
analysis game. He's going to be one of the best in the game immediately.
obviously this isn't NFL draft talk. One of my favorite guys every year to listen to is David Shaw because he's so
Without a doubt.
knowledgeable of the game. He, doesn't have hot takes to be a hot take kind of guy. He's
Just
so
speaks the
smart.
truth.
He speaks the truth. Even not everyone is going to agree with every opinion someone has. I agree with a lot of what he says. He's a very smart football mind. And you know what? Wherever he goes, if he stays with the NFL network, if he, inks a deal with ESPN, he is going to be stellar wherever.
Mhm. I wonder what, dude. He'd be super fun to listen to, just commentating a game and stuff, giving
Bro,
analysis there. But
I have a perfect idea. NFL Network, you already, I believe he has some sort of a contract with the NFL Network for like draft
I'm
coverage.
sure, yeah,
Have him call the Senior Bowl. Have him call the Senior Bowl with, I think is it Bucky Brooks and DJ?
I believe so. Yes.
I think I can't remember if it's Bucky or Charles Davis. I think both of
Oh,
them have done it.
Charles. I don't know.
But
I know DJ,
whoever,
but
get
Charles or
get David
Bucky.
Shaw on the
I think
call.
it's Charles.
I
Could be wrong. Whatever.
I can't remember. I think it is Charles. I think it was Charles with Dan. I know Daniel obviously for sure because I saw him in the press box last year. But I
Perfect.
I want to say it's Charles. I want to say it's Charles.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Shaw just pure class all the
Yeah.
way. Again, a bitter sweet ending, but let's predict where does Stanford go to? It's tough.
I I think they're going to make a stupid hire. I think
Oh
they're
gosh.
okay. We say this as a joke, man. Stanford head coach Bill O'Brien, like
Stop. They're not. That's not happening.
they're going to see he's a big
They're
name.
not that
They're going to see
bad. They're
he's a
not
big
that
name
bad.
coming from a big program,
No,
and they're
they're
going to
not
assume
that
he's
bad.
good because they don't know anything about football right now.
I disagree with that. They're not that idiotic.
I don't know,
The
man. They're
two
book
names I
smart.
was gonna give was Chris Peterson because he's shown interest in this job before. But
Yeah,
again,
true.
it's going to be a tough rebuild, and the whole recruiting aspect and transfer portal stuff is super difficult. But Tavita Pritchard, who played at Stanford, played quarterback, was a part of the legendary win over SCOC there at Stanford. I think if they want to keep it in house, Tavita Pritchard is the guy they go to. He's a 35-year-old ball coach.
Yeah, I mean, if they want to have fun, you know what, man? He's not going to play football anymore. Let's get Andrew Luck,
I wish.
bro. Yeah, I feel like he's
With
going
the
to end up coaching.
Stanford,
I think Andrew Luck's going to end up coaching.
I would love that, but like, what? It's just these Stanford guys. Like, it's just reeks. It's David Shaw
Yeah,
and Andrew Luck way too early. They're done with their careers, which
yeah,
is fine and everything. Like successful careers and all. They're leaving on, you know, Shaw's not leaving on the happiest note, but he was a dang successful ball coach with
yeah,
so many good memories at Stanford. Like they had really good careers and just calling it so early. It's wild.
yeah. It's unfortunate, but you know what? It had to happen. It had to happen sooner or later, and I'm happy it happened sooner.
So, any other? Any other coaching jobs to talk about, Andrew? We know Jake Spavital is out at Texas State, which should be no shock at all.
No, I don't know. I also don't think that's notable enough to talk about.
Well,
It's
I don't
Texas
either.
State.
Sorry,
Like,
Spav. Yeah, it's gonna be
until
a tough
Texas
hill to
State
climb.
actually like shows relevance, I'm refusing to talk about them
Recruiting.
in football,
I know,
recruiting,
but like just straight up
academics. Like,
recruiting. Oh, some other ones to talk about, maybe.
do you want to talk about like possible
You want to talk about
firings?
Auburn? Because I'll say it straight up, I don't think Hugh Freeze is the move.
Oh, I don't think Hugh Freeze is the move either, but
If you're not going to go with Kiffin, I'm just all for keeping it with Cadillac. Like
no,
I know
no.
he's look. I know a
Liam,
lot of people are going to disagree with that, and he's not essentially ready. But dude, I'm all in on Cadillac as a head coach at some point in Auburn.
at some point, maybe he needs to have actual coaching experience first. He's a running backs coach.
Yeah,
He's a dang good running backs
it's
coach.
yeah,
He's got to have
it's
at least some
tough.
sort of coordinator job first.
It's fair, man. I just love the way he goes about what he's done as the interim head coach. I love the way that he speaks in all his interviews, talks to his players, and just he's an incredible motivator. And man, I don't know.
Like,
It's incredible how much of a better job he did than Harson in such little time.
oh, I mean, that's not tough, but
Yeah,
no,
that's true. I know.
he did a fine job for what he was given, but I feel it would be a slap in the face to a lot of other candidates that are deserving of that job to give it to a guy that showed a lot of energy, which is good, and he was very good to the media, but Auburn still wasn't good. It's not like he made Auburn a great team.
No, just made him better, competitive.
I don't really know if that's the case.
What?
They
You
like
don't think they were more competitive and weren't better with Cadillac?
I think they were around the same. Like I don't
Yeah,
think it really. I think
I
the
know it's
only
in
thing that
down
changed
Alabama
was
and
the energy
everything,
that the
but
team put into the game, and I think that's kind of every interim. Like Georgia
okay.
Tech played better, Colorado played better for one game. Arizona State didn't really play better, but that situation's completely.
Beat Washington.
They beat Washington, but it's
Unreal
also
to think about.
that is unreal to think about with how Washington played last night. That was such a good game. We'll get into games
Mhm.
in a second, but no, I think Auburn's got to get a guy with head coaching experience. I think
I still think the perfect dude is Kiffin. Like I
oh,
don't
I completely agree, but I don't think he's going to take that Auburn job. I think he's going to stay at Ole Miss,
if
and
they
my
truly looked at
I don't know why.
how if they truly looked at how Ole Miss finished the season and was like, we're not gonna go through with this because of
Stupid.
how Kiffin finished the year, and then you're like, guy who just got smoked on his home turf by New Mexico State. Here's the key star program. And then there's I don't know, there's just other stuff with Freeze that are just not with it all.
It's such a weird story Auburn is because they thought they had the guy in Harsin coming from Boise. Now it's like, who really can they get? There's no big enough name because Auburn is a massive program. They're a great job. People are going to say it's not because it's ruled by boosters. I hate to break it to you, almost every job is, but Auburn is a little bit more. I, there's not. They got to poach. They got to poach somebody.
I know there's been Dan Lanning talk, but
I don't think that's happening. I
I
I
don't
think Dan
either.
Lanning loves Oregon.
Yeah.
The only way he would leave is if Georgia somehow opened up, and that's not opening up anytime soon.
I mean, yeah, it's just tough to think about where Auburn would go, man.
Could they go after? Uh, I was about to say something stupid.
Just say it. Just say it.
I was about to say Chip to troll you, but
It's not trolling because I can tell you this. That name and Auburn have been thought of so often in the
I
last
know.
year between Auburn fans and
I
UCLA fans. Like Auburn fans have interest in Chip, I
do you think
legit think.
do you think Dave Aranda would leave Baylor for Auburn? I think he would. It's
I
would
think
Auburn
so.
make the offer because Baylor was not good this year.
Yeah, I think Baylor's just in that spot where it just feels like no matter who's coaching at Baylor, like there's going to be so many highs and then there's just going to be mediocrity. And then following mediocrity, there's going to shoot back up to a high. And it's just like, okay, that's Baylor.
Oh, I'm looking at
Of
a
the
name right
name.
now. I don't think he would leave this school. Darren, I think that would be a great hire for Auburn.
Hmm,
Dave Darren from NC State.
I
What he
think
did
it'd
this
be
year, no
solid.
one's
I think they could
no
do
one's going to
better.
talk about it. He did so much with an awful situation. He lost his starting quarterback early in the season. He started 4 quarterbacks all year. He beat
Hmm.
his biggest rival. He had an insane defense.
That
His
defense
offense
is unreal.
his offense wasn't completely anemic with his fourth quarterback. It was actually pretty dang good against North Carolina. I think if you're willing to poach, that's a good name to poach.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I don't hate that. I don't think it's the best or anything,
But I don't
but
think
I
there
don't
is
mind.
such thing
Like,
as a
I think it's
best.
good.
I
Yeah,
think
I
I
don't.
think
I think
best is
it's good.
Kiffin.
Yeah,
And like I still have freaking PTSD from that Egg Bowl. He
like I
coached such a
think Dave
bad
over
game.
Freeze 100%. I mean, Kiffin's struggled against top dogs time and time again.
Not against Mississippi State
Top
though.
dogs is yeah, yeah. I don't know. That was
Like that
inexcusable.
was that was an
And they threw
atrocious coaching job.
and he threw at the end of the Alabama game with the absurd amount of Jackson Dart keepers just over and over again.
Yeah.
Get the ball in the Judkins' hands. Get the ball in Zach Evans' hands. Figure it out. You have too many talented receivers too. Um, I guess Kenny Dillingham too could talk about real quick.
I
I think
love
that's a
that
good
hire.
hire. Yeah,
I love it for Arizona State. You get a former, would it be a former alum or technically an alum? I
just
don't know
be
that.
an alum. You
Yeah,
get an alum.
he's an ASU alum, amazing offensive mind. You see what he did this year with the likes of Bo Nix, Franklin. They've got a bunch of good backs. It was one
Mm-hmm.
of the most fun offenses to watch this year. And now he's going to go back to his alma mater. He's going to be able to recruit pretty well. Arizona's a very talented state. I think is a one of the best case hires for them.
I think so too. 32-year-old head coach who's going to be 33 when he starts up next year. He's had success seemingly everywhere he's been. This is a really
Yeah.
good hire for ASU. I don't think that. I mean, yeah, you could always do better, I guess, but where ASU was at, where they're
Yeah.
at in the state of their program right now, I don't think they could have done a better job than
Yeah.
getting Dillingham back. I think this is an incredible hire for them.
And he is also, I believe, the youngest head coach in the FBS right now. I want to say it was Nicole Auerbach that tweeted, first head coach born in the 90s.
Oof.
So all you 90s kids
I'm
feel
up
old.
next.
I'm in the thousands, so I'm chilling from now. I got
I'm
13
up
years.
next, man. I'll take the Stanford job. I ain't afraid. Or I'll take the FAU job. I think I look. I'm gonna say first off, Fish and Dillingham. That's gonna be fun. That's
Battles.
the fun stuff. That oh my gosh, that rivalry is just going to heat up even more when these teams hopefully get back to good levels of play. And then FAU, like I like the move on. Where do you go
Yeah,
from here? I don't know. I look forward to seeing it though.
probably a Kiffin assistant. I like
What about Charlie Weese's kid?
shut up.
What?
No, I think that's the perfect place to move on.
All right. We'll move on to some. They played football games last week. Did you know that?
Apparently,
Ohio's going to the MAC championship, Andrew. So you're not doing it without Curtis Rourke. I want to start there.
if
Curtis
they had
Rourke, my
Curtis Rourke, I'd
dude,
be
out
extremely
for the
hyped,
year. You should still be hyped, dude, because they look good. Even
bro.
though it was CJ Harris at quarterback and like they're missing Rourke, who unfortunately Maple Missile, ACL meniscus, awful. I
Yeah,
hope he's back and healthy next year and kills it again. But this team is really good, this Ohio
yeah.
team. I hope that more of our team ranked them because I ranked them for 3 straight
I
weeks
ranked
now.
them.
Good.
I, I
Where?
I had them relatively high. I had them like close to 20.
I had them 20th or 21st.
Yeah, but no, who are they playing in the MAC? Is it Toledo?
Yeah, it's gonna be
I mean, Daquan Finn, not the greatest game.
it's it once he got hurt, he has not
Yeah,
been the same at all.
wait,
And
I feel
he's
bad
just
for him.
making ill-advised throw after ill-advised throw, and they're playing 2 quarterbacks at least, and it's just ugly. I am really looking forward to that game, but I have to say this. The MAC is tripping, dude, because last few years now we've had the MAC championship on a Saturday. Why? Why would you want your championship game to be on Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific instead of in prime time on a Friday night where everybody's watching? I just don't get that.
Yeah. Um,
Like the MAC is synonymous for playing action and playing on weekdays. That should be when your conference championship is on a Friday. I know that's not a action day, but we used to have it on Fridays and everybody would watch it. Nobody's flocking to go watch it on a Saturday morning. It's just a sad truth. Egg Bowl though, man. Let's talk Egg Bowl. You
oh,
go in on it.
buddy, Lane Kiffin, what are you doing? It's pouring rain and you don't run the
It's
ball.
just
Jackson Dart had a good game, but you've got Quinshon Judkins and Zach Evans and you don't run the ball? Hello? Pardon? Pardon my take? Hello? What's
part
going
of
on?
my take.
Also, I understand you run a three front with dropping eight because Mississippi State throws the ball a freaking boatload. When they started running at a high rate, put more in the box, please. You got to adjust. Mississippi State's running all over you, and you refuse to adjust because, oh, they got Will Rogers. They're going to throw the football. It's Mike Leach. They're going to throw the football. No, they're not. It's raining. They're going to run. Granted, I'm surprised and shocked Mike Leach made that adjustment because last year in the pouring rain in Starkville, it didn't matter. He was throwing the football. This year, he runs the football. He finds success because Lane Kiffin refuses to make a defensive adjustment, and that's what ended up killing Ole Miss. If it wasn't for a Will Rogers fumble on the 1 yard line, Ole Miss doesn't have a chance in this game
That's facts.
because
Like the
they
final score is much closer than it should have been.
oh Mississippi State like they won this game by 3 possessions in my mind because they lost a touchdown. They gave Ole Miss a touchdown. That's a 2 score swing. They won this game by 3 possessions. It's
That's
just
fair.
awful coaching job from Ole Miss. Mike Leach, incredible win. You beat Ole Miss. You win the Egg Bowl. That's a massive rivalry. A lot of hate.
Eric Calvin's dancing on the sidelines.
Yeah, the dance right behind Mike was definitely
Iconic.
it was. But credit to Mississippi State. They've got a lot of good receivers.
Hmm.
But Ole Miss, man, like that's such a they
Brutal
were in the
ending to the
they were
season.
ranked like 7 at one point.
Yeah, they were 7-0.
They were
They
7
were
and
always
0.
felt like they were overrated, but you're still 7-0 and like
7 and 0 and finish 1 and 4 to end the year. Like I'm
ugly.
double checking their schedule.
I
You
mean,
lose
the
to
SEC West was not good.
oh, it was awful this year. This has to be one of the worst SEC Wests in a long time.
Yeah, but the media doesn't want you to know that.
Yeah, like final 5 games, a 25-point loss to an LSU team that got incredibly overrated coming to the end of the year. You beat Texas
Unbelievably
A&M.
overrated.
Woohoo! Unbelievably overrated. You lose to Alabama. Like it's Alabama, but at the end of the day, this isn't Alabama. Alabama losing to Alabama
No,
isn't great.
this
You
was
know,
an Alabama team that could have had 4 or 5 losses.
probably should have, honestly.
Yes, they should have lost to A&M. They should have lost to Ole Miss probably, and they should have lost to Texas.
Yeah, just a
Why this
bad
Alabama team
year.
has playoff talk is ridiculous. I think if you want to talk playoff right quick, I think the playoff is all right. So I just think you take the 4 teams. I just think you take Georgia, Michigan, TCU, and USC. I don't see any other reason to take a different team.
If USC loses, you can't put them in.
I don't think they're gonna lose, but
I don't
dude,
I
I
don't think
might
they are
still take
either.
them.
Their one loss is Utah, though.
Who are you taking? If you're not, if SC loses, who are you taking?
Like I think no matter what TCU should be in, even if they lose to Kansas State,
I
they
agree.
already beat Kansas State. I think you have to put them in. Georgia's in no matter what. I think Michigan's in no matter what. I think then you're getting into you have to put Alabama back in discussion. You have to put Ohio State back in discussion. It's so unfortunate because both of those teams have no deserving qualities to make the
No,
playoff.
the only one that does is Tennessee. And they
No,
got smoked by South
no.
Carolina and don't have Hendon Hooker. Dude, Tennessee is more deserving of it than Alabama, and that's not even close.
Yes,
And we played
but
head
you're
to head,
saying
and
like they
Tennessee
have
beat them.
Tennessee does not deserve to make the playoff.
Neither does Alabama or Ohio State, though. And
No,
that's why I just think we keep the 4 teams that are there now. I don't see any. Even if SC loses, Ohio State and Alabama have no business going in. And I'm not with taking SC out of the playoffs just because they lost their conference championship game, while Ohio State and Alabama didn't even get to play in one because they weren't good enough.
yeah, I mean,
We're not punishing a team for
like this
doing
is
that good.
this is a type of year where I don't like playoff expansion because there are, and I said this last year, there were not 4 teams that deserve to make the playoff last year. I don't think there's 4 teams that deserve to make the playoff
I
this
think
year.
there's 4
If
this
if you
year.
If USC loses, they don't deserve to make the playoff.
That's fair. But as of right now, there are 4 teams
Yes,
that deserve to make it, and
there
they
are
should be in no
4.
matter
That can
what.
change though.
I legit do not think if SC loses, I just, in my opinion, I know it's not going to happen. I know Alabama or Ohio State isn't, but if I was voting, SC's still in. Like, what? We're going to punish them because they were too good and they had to play an extra game while Ohio State and Alabama were not
Okay,
good enough. Alabama in the weak SEC West. Ohio State loses one of their 2 games all year, gets smoked by Michigan. They don't get beat up on Purdue in the Big Ten championship game. Like, no, SC deserves to be in.
SC deserves to be in, but if they can't beat Utah, that's a problem.
I mean, yeah.
Because Utah's a
Oh
good team,
man.
but they've also like this
I
is
don't
not
think
a
Utah's better
kind.
than Oregon. I don't think they're better than Washington. I like, man, this
I think
stinks too
Washington's the
because
second best team in the Pac-12.
yeah, this stinks because this was the one year it feels like where the Pac-12 would have been better off with division first division championship game. But instead of Washington SC, it's Utah SC. And I don't think
Yeah,
Utah's honestly like they're good. Probably not a top 4 team in the conference.
you know
I'm
what?
taking SC, I'm taking Washington, I'm taking UCLA, I'm taking Oregon.
If it was division versus division and Washington beat USC, I think you would put Washington in the playoff.
I'm not against that. The issue is these dudes already lost to ASU somehow. Why did they have to lose to ASU? If they don't lose to ASU, we're talking about a thriller of a Pac-12 championship right now with Washington versus SC, and the winner gets in the playoff.
Yeah, that would be completely
How did they
amazing.
lose to ASU? That never made any
Interim
sense to me.
coach.
And
It's the interim coach curse. You can't beat an interim
yes,
coach.
I guess, dude, it's so bad.
It is, but man, Pac
We have
12,
differing takes there on the playoff. Oh well,
I mean,
can't
it's
have
fine.
differing takes on
It's not the
Group of
first time we've
Five
had
stuff.
deferring takes.
I can't have differing takes on Group of Five stuff though. Tulane got done in Nippert. That doesn't happen often.
Yeah, it doesn't. A great win for Tulane. First ranked win since what, the 80s?
Golly, you're gonna make me find that
No,
tweet Dylan put
I
up.
know it was the 80s. So
Oh yeah, okay. But what about the date, man? What about the year?
sorry, I don't know that it was freaking
Ooh, too
de
bad.
December 12th, 1986. Sorry.
October 6th, 1984. You're so off. 13,929 days ago. Gosh, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, but great win for Tulane. They deserve to be
Dude,
in the American Athletic Conference style game. You know who doesn't? UCF. They don't. Like, congratulations on your very close win over USF that you actually got the refs to hand you because that was not a touchdown.
dude, that I had to be a little biased here.
It was not a touchdown, Liam.
He that he DM'd me on no context like 2 weeks ago. And it was hilarious. I didn't even realize it was him that scored it at first, but like I have to be a UCF guy. I'm sorry.
Look, man, you can be a UCF guy all you want. That was not a touchdown. I don't know how the heck they gave that to him.
In my book, Alec Collar scored a touchdown there.
You know what? Congratulations to him. That was a heck of a snag.
It
Unfortunately,
was
he was out of bounds.
disgusting.
That was one of the best catches of the year. Unfortunately, he was out of bounds.
Hey man, sometimes you need a little help from the Zebras to beat South Florida. We've all been there.
Can we
Right?
talk about South Florida? Ever since they fired
Exactly.
Jeff Scott, they actually have like life. They finished 1-11. They were not an awful football team ever since they fired him. They had a lot of close games.
Yeah,
Their offense was electric.
doesn't make sense.
No, it does make sense. Jeff Scott was not a good head coach.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you know what I'm saying though. I'm not.
What are you saying?
It just doesn't make sense that UCF could be in a dogfight with USF. Like that
Oh
can't be
no, it
happening,
completely
is
makes
what I'm
sense.
saying.
They were in a dogfight with Navy.
Dude, Navy will do that to you. Navy did to Cincy last year. Navy did to Notre Dame. It just happens.
It shouldn't.
I know it shouldn't.
It's
But it
freaking
happens.
Navy. Look, man, I love the troops. It's freaking Navy.
Florida State, Florida was a fun game, aside from the 3.5 extra hours that went on because of stoppages.
Yeah, look, man, I think Anthony Richardson is talented. No way on earth anybody should draft him this year. No one. He needs to
Roller
stay another
coaster.
year. He needs to. He needs it badly for development.
Yeah,
He is
you
an
can't.
electric runner. He cannot pass.
You cannot go 0 of 11 like he
That's
did.
it, it was awful. Look, he's got a good arm. He look, man, he just needs another year of development. Some guys need more time. Some guys will be like, oh, but he's got, this electric ability to run. That's great and all. He's a quarterback. Like, I don't want
I
him turning
don't
into
think they
Felipe
ran him enough
Franks.
either. They
No, they
did not
didn't.
run him enough against FSU, which was shocking. But yeah, Richardson needs proper coaching and development,
Yeah.
and it's a huge red flag when you're down 38-24 in the fourth quarter and your team runs the ball 13 of the next 14 plays and finds themselves in a tie game at 38. That's an issue. That's a red flag. Trevor Etienne is also unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like the true freshman running backs that we have, my goodness.
Yeah. Him, Singleton. There's a lot of freaking studs at running back. We're gonna be loaded for the next few years.
Dude, there's more.
Yeah, I know, but I'm
Yeah, but
saying the ones that
Sam.
are coming to my mind off the top.
Jaden Ott, the Otter.
Jaden Ott needs to transfer.
No, that's facts. Nothing on Quinshon Judkins from you?
I mean, I talked about Ole Miss already. He doesn't get the ball
No,
enough.
that's facts.
It's also tough because he's in a room with Zach Evans. That's about to change. Also, by the way, a name that we thought would have a good year, Ulysses Bentley, nothing this year. It's just so
I
unfortunate.
wasn't expecting that much.
I was
No,
expecting him to be a good split back.
yeah, I don't know. I just wasn't expecting much with Evans there. Then Judkins emergence right quick. Just
Yeah,
man, I forgot about Ulysses.
yeah. I think he needs to transfer.
Yeah, NC State, North Carolina, we kind of already touched on.
I want to touch on it again.
Yeah,
North,
rest in peace, Drake Mays Heisman.
yeah,
Maybe next year.
possible.
I'm sure
Caleb,
he'll be there next year.
Caleb might go for the Archie, but
Yeah,
that's definitely in the
I see
cards.
that happening. Yeah, May will be there as a finalist next year unless he
I think
gets
he'll be a
Sam
finalist this
Howell.
year.
Unless he gets Sam Howell next year, but yeah, Caleb going for the Archie, I think is something to speak into existence.
But no, man, like North Carolina needs a full coaching overhaul. Their coaches are
Thank
awful.
you.
Their off
Yes,
their
we've seen
their
that for
off
how long?
their offensive play call yesterday was run with Drake May. Drake May is a talented football player that can run the ball if need be. He's not a guy that you run quarterback power with. He's not
No,
DJ.
it's the
Hello?
same thing that we saw with Sam Howell the last few years, and
Yeah,
that's why this UNC team can never get to the top because their coaching is terrible.
and
But
also,
nobody wants to admit it because Mac Brown's a fun dude and everyone
yeah,
loves him. That's
the
cool and all. I like Mac Brown too. He'd be dancing in the locker room like Andrew and stuff. I like Mac Brown. He
yeah,
is not a good football coach. He is not the dude for UNC unless you're okay with that 8-win, 9-win year and then back to 6, 7, and then get back up. And then we're just going to keep doing that dance. He's not going to take him to the top.
no.
And you can't have Sam Howell and Drake May back-to-back turns like this with elite receiver play and so much
I'm
talent.
gonna disagree with you on that one.
Okay, not elite receiver play, but Josh Downs is a dog.
Josh Downs is a dog. He's had
Green
a
is
rough two
solid.
weeks.
He did deal with injury, I know, but yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, like
very
this.
talented.
Yes. It's the same thing that we saw with Howell. This is like mirror image of what we saw with Howell.
Yeah, it's really
With Diane
discouraging.
and Daz and them getting hurt at times and just not always being the same and just
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like their run game should just be better.
I do too.
Like
But
I really liked Omarion Hampton when he was getting the ball a little bit. Now he's not great.
yeah.
Like he got a few carries yesterday and they were not highlights. We'll say that to
No,
I don't know. Just
no.
UNC has no defense. They've got talent on offense, but the coaching is holding them back. I think they just need a complete overhaul there because North Carolina is a very good recruiter. Like they're a big brand. They're getting big names. They're getting 5 stars. They're getting high fours. They should be better than this. They should, especially in an ACC that sucks. The ACC was the worst power conference this year.
And now you have Clemson, UNC limping and crawling into the ACC championship game. What they do?
I I
Not looking forward to that one.
I don't want to watch that game. I
I'll
don't.
take UNC though.
No, I won't.
You're gonna take Clemson.
I'm gonna pick Clemson. Like, bro,
I might pick
UNC's
Clemson. I
coaching
don't
is
know.
so bad, it's going to keep them from winning a game against a good defense.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, we can say all the
yeah.
things
You're
we want
right.
about
You're right. I'm
DJ's,
back on
how
Clemson.
DJ's
DJ's
not
gonna
that
put
good.
56 on that defense.
Yeah, that defense is so freaking bad. Like, Clemson probably wins that game by 2 possessions, maybe 3. UNC is that bad coaching wise. They're not going to be able to penetrate on a good defense. NC State has a great defense. Clemson's got a better defense.
Mm,
And Clemson's offense, I mean, they put up what, 30 on South Carolina's defense, which isn't good. North Carolina has a worse defense. I'm not going to use a transit the property
property.
the property that says they score more than 30 and UNC
Yeah,
scores less than 27. But man, stuff's got to
ugly
change.
game. Ugly game.
Hey, coming off of last year, which was electric, Pitt versus Wake. No fake
Yeah,
slides this
that
year.
stuff. Brutal. I think we already kind of touched on Tulane Cincy,
Yeah,
but
I
I
don't think
think
we.
it's remarkable what Ty J Spears has been able to do after multiple leg injuries, including
Yeah,
ACL and I believe another ACL or Achilles. I don't know, I always forget, but his movement's just wicked and everything.
yeah.
Texas Baylor, I just want to keep this one short and simple. Texas found themselves down after that Quinn Ewers strip sack. Baylor takes the lead. What happened next, Andrewster? How many pass plays?
Not a lot.
Texas did not throw the ball
Yep.
one time after the strip sack. They did not want to put the ball into Quinn Ewers' hands. They ran the ball 21 times. They ended the game on a 14-0 run and won
Yep.
38-27. They ran the ball 21 straight times.
Yeah, I mean, smart.
Yeah, where's the confidence? And Ewers is not there. We have seen this from Ewers too many times where he is flat out stinks.
I don't think he flat out stinks. I think he
I'm not
is.
saying he flat out stinks, but we've seen it too many times where he flat out stinks.
Huh?
The Oklahoma State game,
No,
the
no.
Baylor game,
You're saying he doesn't flat out stink, but you're saying he flat out stunk.
in multiple games this year, yeah, he was flat out stinky, is what I'm saying.
Uh,
There were other games where he's been very good.
there have been
I
games where
think he's
he's
just a
good.
solid quarterback.
I think he has a lot of potential that, look, man, I don't know how many people are going to say this. Xavier Worthy had a bad year. He
Yeah, he
was
did.
bad this year.
He was.
Like, I don't know what it was. There were times where it just didn't seem like he was all out trying. And I'm not one to question a player's effort, but there were catches he could have made that he just did not. His separation this year was not that good. His hands were a massive liability. I don't know what happened. He was so
Perhaps he did not
electric.
like Ewers.
I don't know,
Right.
man. But I do think we need to have a genuine discussion this offseason about, does Quinn keep that job? I I think
I
there's a
don't.
discussion to be made. If you're
I
that
don't
high
think
on Arch,
so.
and if Arch is good enough in spring, I think there needs to be a genuine battle.
If there was a genuine battle and it wasn't Cap between Ewers and Hudson Card, I don't see how Arch doesn't come in and challenge for the job right away.
He is going to. And look, I'm not the highest guy on Arch. I don't think he's worthy of being the number one player in the country. I think that would be Dante Moore at Detroit Martin Luther King. But he's still a very good quarterback. He still has, all the traits that you want. He's got a stellar arm. He can move. He's got to have some sort of chance to win that job in his freshman year. Look, man, Texas, you've got so much talent. We need to give them props. That defense this year was great. It was great. Offensive line was good.
Stupendous. I
They,
mean, just started with tackling. They were able to start. They started to be able to tackle people and put an effort, and it changed that whole identity of the defense. They were tough.
they were tough. DeMarvion, freaking
Mr.
stud.
Accessory.
It's going to be a tough year because they have to replace Bijan. They have to replace. I would assume Xavier still goes to the draft, even though I don't know if he should. I think he might need another year. But they get Nair back next year, which is going to be massive. But Texas, man, 8-4 is not good enough. It's not. A lot of people were trying to say, oh, they're back, and yes, they were in the Big 12 title fight until the end. And of course, you needed Kansas to win. Unfortunately, they weren't playing you. but
That's a low blow.
it's a low
It's
blow.
how you said it though. It was very funny. It was good delivery, but
Thank you.
no, I don't know. Yeah,
Just
assuming Bijan or Oshan are done
they have to be. I don't
having the
I don't think Roshan
what?
has any more eligibility.
Yeah, but like having to find that next dude at running back's gonna be really interesting. I know a lot of people are high
Keaton,
on
that would be an
Blue.
amazing fit.
Yeah,
Keaton.
I would like Keaton there. But I know a lot of people are really high on Jaden Blue. We'll see what he's about. I'm not sure about recruiting or anything. What
Yeah.
freshmen they have coming in, that's not my thing. But if Xavier Worthy were like transfer out, woof,
I I think that would be bad for him.
it depends where he goes.
It depends, but it's like
I don't know. Name a school.
unless he
Name a
goes to
school.
USC,
Well, if he went to TCU,
I don't think that would be a great fit.
ooh,
Like, look, TCU has a very fun offense. Man, I just don't like it just doesn't seem
doesn't
good.
showcase you.
Yeah, like they've got a lot of running in that offense, and it's like I feel like he would want to go to a pass happy offense.
Okay, so
Like I
SC stands out.
I think USC would be a great
Washington,
fit. Washington, I want to
I
see
can't
who's
see him
quarterback next
going
year.
there.
I want to see who's quarterback next year for Washington because it's not Penix because he's going to the NFL.
Where else, man?
I
I
mean,
want to think of a good spot.
I know I just trashed the coaching staff. Drake May to Xavier Worthy would be kind of fun
Oh gosh,
if you can get good
Alabama.
offensive coaching though. I don't know. I feel like he has to go to a team that has like a Heisman caliber quarterback, or even in. Obviously, it would be a downgrade in program if he went with Kenny Dillingham.
That'd be
That
fun.
would be fun. I
That'd
just
be
want to see who
weird,
Arizona State's
but
quarterback is.
yeah, Tennessee maybe. I don't know. Oh
Yeah,
well, though. Let's talk Michigan, Ohio State because that
yeah.
should probably have been talked about, right? But we had other stuff. Ryan Day's a fraud.
Oh, Ryan Day. Look, man, we need to start talking about him on the hot seat. If you
Yeah, he
can't beat,
struck out.
he struck out. He tried to lean in to get hit by the pitch, and it did not work. It was
He got the chin strap on his helmet.
that was the worst performance I've seen from a head coach in that rivalry in a long time
Yeah, he's
because
just a coward. Like that's the word. He's straight
he's
coward.
not even a coward. He's just stupid. Like he tries to, and I know you use this term a lot, big brain. He tries to do all this
Drives
stuff
the
that
galaxy brain everything.
everything, and it doesn't work. You know what's going to work? Throw the ball to Marvin.
That was fun when they went to the vertical passing game, like all the 2 times they did and hit big plays.
Yeah. I, how many times did CJ Stroud throw the ball more than 20 yards downfield, and how many touchdowns did he get out of it? I want to see that stat. What was his deep ball like success rate? I don't know if that's a stat. It probably is because everything's a stat nowadays. I want to see something because first off, their run game. Wow, no, 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 no. But I think that this is just bad. It's bad.
It's like CJ did not have the best year. He did not have
No.
like that elite year that you're looking for from a draft eligible prospect who is a top 2 quarterback in his class, most likely. It's not like I can't throw all the blame on him though.
I I thought he had a
He's
very good game.
bad.
I thought he
I
made
thought
some
he
very
played
good
really
throws.
solid against Michigan.
He missed
The
a
whole screen thing is not on him, and all people want to do on Twitter is blah blah blah. Blah. CJ Stroud only has success off screens. He can only throw screens. What are you talking about? Like,
yeah. I mean, just watch that deep ball he threw to Marv on the right sideline early in the game. That was just a
was
beautiful
stellar. That's
ball.
the one I'm thinking
That's
of.
an NFL
There was
throw.
another one over the middle to Buka. That's a dart.
Yeah, but
He made good throws, but it's like Ryan Day puts these dudes in the worst situation possible. What happened when it was 7-3 in the second quarter and they went for it on 4th and 1? They went for that low percentage play on essentially a fade jump ball to Cade Stover isolated at the bottom of your screen.
yeah,
That's what we're doing. If
I don't
it's
know,
fourth
man.
and 7, I can tell you Ryan Day's probably running the ball.
Also, we talked about how he's galaxy braining. Where the heck did that galaxy brain go on 4th down late in the game when you need to go for it?
He
You're,
actually punted, and CJ Stroud is begging them to go for it.
if I'm CJ Stroud, I'm literally staying on the field. I'm not
I
letting
thought
him
about
tell
the
me what
same
to do.
I thought about the same thing. I thought about, like, dude, CJ, just go rogue and snap the ball yourself. Like, don't, like, what are you gonna do?
What are they going to tell you? You're a Heisman front runner.
What are they gonna tell you? CJ, we're not happy that you picked up this first down. Now we're gonna call timeout and make us punt on 1st and 10. Come on, CJ. Bad luck for a program.
I,
What's a bad luck is getting completely embarrassed by Michigan in the same fashion back-to-back years. This rivalry is completely turned, like, it's done a complete circle, like, or
it's
180 or whatever you say.
yeah,
Geometry, blah.
a complete
Harbaugh
180,
is, yeah, Harbaugh is owning this thing.
bro.
And when it's like, we used to make fun of Michigan and for their lack of effort in this game, or energy or juice. That's Ohio State now.
Yeah,
Michigan is the one who cares so much more about this rivalry. Like, does not take this as seriously as the head ball as someone in this rivalry needs to. He's
yeah.
not fit for it.
I Ohio State spent too much time putting little red X's over every M on campus and not enough time game planning. It's this was a pathetic performance from a team that has so much talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball in the passing game, where they just like don't do it. They don't. You've got arguably the best wide receiver in the country, Marvin Harrison Jr. And you know how many times he was targeted after, I want to say it was one of his touchdowns. I know Luke said this
Well,
stat.
he was
Outside of
targeted one time.
targeted one time, one, one, your best player, one. How does that happen?
And it's fun too, because everyone is just going to kind of, everyone's going to kind of use the cop out for day that they had an absurd amount of injuries, which is fair. They had a lot of injuries, but
I
we
I'm
saw
not.
Chip Trayanum, who's a running back, linebacker, back to running back, have success running the ball. We saw true freshman Downey and have success running the ball. Whether it be Mayan or Travion, there was success running the ball. There was no shortage of talent in your wide receiver room. I know you lose a first-round pick in JSN all year, and that's tough. I get that, but you're telling me that in the let's exclude the Notre Dame game. So let's say in the 11 games that JSN was very likely not to play, you could not find one other guy to step up. It was still all on Julian Fleming.
Yeah.
Why? We knew Ibuka's a stud, and we knew that Marvin Harrison's the best receiver in the country. But why was Day and his staff so stuck on Julian Fleming as the third guy? Why didn't Jalen Ballard get one look all year? If you want a vertical threat, he was there on your bench waiting. He's one of the fastest players on your team.
Yeah, I wonder how much Fleming's in the game plan next year when they get a guy in
He's not
Brandon Ennis
good.
coming in.
Fleming's not good.
He's not. I think that Ennis is better. I've watched a decent amount of Ennis. Dude's a stud.
I can't tell you anything about the incoming freshman receivers that they have, but I can tell you they're all better than Julian Fleming, and that Julian Fleming's going to need a transfer.
Ennis, if he stays at Ohio State, I think he's going to be a very good receiver. I've watched a decent amount of videos of him. Does
If
one-on-ones
he
with
stays, because
destroying.
if Hartline ends up getting up on out there, are these guys just cool going to play for Day? Because not a lot of people are like, I think it's kind of becoming a known thing now, and you kind of hear the murmurs over and over again. Not many people love Day.
I don't.
He's
I
not a
mean,
likable guy.
look, man. I'm
That's
not going to say
becoming a
he's not a
thing.
likable guy because I've never met the guy. I'm not going to make that type of judgment on him, but a lot of people say it.
A lot of talk about it.
Yeah, and
Ohio State starts to struggle, and now
yeah, because when they were winning, nothing like this came out. But the good old saying, winning fixes everything. So
Mhm.
now that they're not winning against Michigan, you know what? Maybe people are starting to get a little upset, and I can't blame them.
And like, you're not gonna move on. I know that you're not gonna move on. But if I were there, I would move on. Like, and it's not just because you got embarrassed by Michigan back-to-back years, although that's at the top of the list.
Yeah,
It's the
number one.
fact that we're talking about, you got Ryan Day got outcoached by the weather and Pat Fitzgerald in the Northwestern game. Is
Yeah.
that not a red flag? That team only won a game in Ireland this year. They did not win on U.S. soil, and they probably
Over
could have
America.
you. Maryland and Mike Locksley outcoached Ryan Day.
Yeah.
What else was there?
I mean,
I mean,
there were a lot of performances that were at least sketchy. I
the
mean,
Penn State game was a complete bailout. Stroud and Marvin Harrison working a quick little two-man
the
game
first half
on
of
the
the Notre Dame
fly.
game.
The first half of Notre Dame game was horrific. Like Stroud and Marv bailed him out of the Penn State game and made that a comfy win. Probably got out coached by James Franklin in that game, who, by the way, ran the T formation about 6 times. So you got out coached by a guy running 1914 football. Proud of you.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like if I'm the AD, like I'm making a change.
I mean, if I'm the AD, I tell Luke Fickell, hey, no, you just took that Wisconsin job. We know this is your dream job. Come take it. And then I'm saying, Brian Hartline, you're now my offensive coordinator. Those are the first two. Because
I don't know how the priority on Hartline isn't like at the top either. Like he needs to be paid handsomely and be given the role that he deserves before he bails on you.
I think he's offensive coordinator. I don't think head coach, but he
I
is
don't think he
so
should be head coach.
he is so good at what he does.
Yeah.
He brings in the best wide receivers in the country. He pumps them out to the NFL. He's the best wide receivers coach in the country. He's arguably the best recruiter in the country.
Yeah. You
But
have to keep him on the staff. Like that's priority number one.
you,
If I'm at Cincinnati, I'm doing what I can to get him to come over ASAP.
yeah, you
Because
have to give
we
him.
make a move into the Big 12. Like I'm giving him a blank check and I'm saying, look, let's go do this thing in the new conference. Let's make you the face of our program and let's go. Do
No,
what you did at Ohio State and do it here.
no,
What?
Cincinnati?
Yes.
No,
What are you saying no about?
I don't think that works.
Why?
He's not going to get great recruits at Cincinnati.
Why not?
It's Cincinnati.
It is. It's a tough job.
It
Brian
is a
Kelly and Luke Fickell were able to have success there.
it is a tough
Brian
job.
Hartline
But
wants to get going. I ask for a blank check. I say, let's go.
I don't know if Brian Hartline wants to take all that. He's doing amazing at what he's
That's
doing
fine.
right now.
That's fine. I'm just saying why would do. If I'm Cincy, I'm handing him a blank check. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I think
Also,
he's an
Ryan
amazing
Day-
offensive mind that can recruit receivers at the highest level when he's at a great program. I don't think he's a coach that can bring a program to like championship status, especially when it's Cincinnati.
Status. I'm not talking championship either, but you know.
I mean, if you're bringing in a coach, that's what you want. Cincinnati just went to the playoff last year.
Okay, then hire Urban Meyer since
I think that would be a good hire.
of course. Just no just no kickers.
Yeah, no kickers. I think we've gone off.
Yeah,
on
Ryan
Ohio
Day
State.
also nuked their secondary and was basically handed
Yeah.
the job on a gold platter and not taking the bite out of it. He's actually threw it away. Awful stuff there.
I think we've talked enough about the Buckeyes.
Yeah,
They don't deserve too much.
TCU, well, first
that
off,
game is
credit
not
to
notable.
Michigan, Harbaugh, and everything. Like incredible win.
They're the power team in the Big Ten now.
Outmanned them. Yeah, like just don't slip up and lose to Purdue for no reason.
No, they're not.
I said don't do it. I'm telling them not.
You're not
to.
going to. People
just
are
telling
getting
them
worried
not
because Purdue can
to.
pass. Like
I'm
Purdue
telling them not
lost to Syracuse.
Yeah, I'm just giving them a warning.
All right.
TCU, yes, smoked Iowa State.
We don't need to talk about that.
Hypnotoad, woo. Can we keep the LSU A&M one quick and just say
Yeah,
LSU was extremely overrated.
extremely overrated. Devon
A.
Achane's an NFL running back. Moose Muhammad is insane. A&M is
Wigman's
more
good
talented than
too.
the record will say. LSU is less talented than their record will say. I think that changes. I think that they're gonna find a quarterback going into next year because I don't think Jaden Daniels is the answer. I think that this is a very well put together team over the next few years, just not this year. I think that they had a absolutely stellar season for their standards. A lot of people thought they would go 6-6 or 7-5. They ended up winning their division.
Overachieved big time.
overachieving big
Where
time, but they still achieved. So you got to give them credit for that.
indeed, where do they move on at quarterback? Give a prediction.
I they've got so many quarterbacks on their roster. It's really tough to say.
I was
Like,
thinking transfer portal.
no, they've got Will Howard probably, or what's his name? Is it Will Howard?
Isn't it Walker?
No, Walker Howard's at Kansas State.
We just mixing up the two Howards.
LSU quarterback depth chart. I don't pay attention to their quarterback depth chart, so I'm not
No,
gonna.
Walker Howard's the LC one. I was right. Will Howard's
Oh,
the Kansas State one.
oh, okay.
Just
I'm
mixing them
stupid.
up. Golly, Ian Brewster. Figure it out.
Garrett Nuss battle between Howard and Nussmeyer. I don't see why JJ Daniels is killing my computer. Site is
Right. Oh
killing
yeah,
my
I can see that.
computer, and I
And
can't close
Trister's
it.
computer has been absolutely nuked.
All right, am I back?
I hope so.
All right, yeah, I need to like close everything. I should probably close Discord.
Yeah, man. What on
All
earth
right.
was that? Notre Dame SC was not as close as the final score indicated.
Nope, Notre Dame.
Caleb Williams is your
Not
Heisman.
good.
You said at the top he's going for the Archie. I know back on September 19th or whatever. What week was that? Week 3? Was that week 3?
Was it? I
Was
think.
that week 3? September. Yeah, so week 3. At the end of week 3, I said Caleb Williams is going to win the Heisman. I was flanked by two people that said it was going to be Stetson Bennett.
Yeah. Look, man, Stetson Bennett's not a good quarterback.
But why did Liam Blutman never bet Caleb Williams to win the Heisman? How many
Because
times
neither
did
of
I
us thought
go
he
on
was
our
stellar
dang?
last year.
How many times do I have to go on our dang podcast and say it straight up? I know I said like 7 times minimum that Caleb Williams is going to win the Heisman. I never bet it, whether it be before the season or during the season. Look, I know both of us had our stances on Caleb going into the year. He flew through. Like he was
Yeah.
impeccable, and that was seen from their first snap against Rice. Like the dude just has it. And I think one of the most important things that he showed last year at Oklahoma was just the maturity and like, dude, he's a special dude. Like I know there's gonna be May versus Williams talk for a number 1 overall pick. I'm gonna be stuck on Williams like
I agree.
as number 1 pick, and I don't see how I'm gonna get away from it. Like he's the best player in college football right now. Sick.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say that my criticism of him, I don't know if it was
I think the
criticism.
criticism from us was fair.
I think
we
it
were
was
just
fair. I just think that his development this year was absolutely insane.
astronomical.
I think
It was
that
extremely like quick.
maybe I'm being a little too quick. This could be Lincoln Riley's best quarterback ever.
I'm not against it because I always thought Kyler was kind of overrated, and it's kind of been seen in the NFL. Has not been. Baker Mayfield never really panned out in the NFL after injury. I don't know. Like I'm with it.
I think he's a special player. Like
it's not just it might not be his best trait. And maybe it is. I don't know, but just the way that he's able to make throws on the run while he's going against, like he's going to his left and he's making a throw to his right.
He's going crossbody.
Yes, crossbody throws on the run and making it look so easy. They're wicked throws too, with high volume, like high speeds on it. It's scary stuff. And the deep ball is it's too good.
I would say that's probably his best trait. He also has another trait that I think he flashes very well, but he's also got some like moments. I'd say that's his pocket presence. There are times where he makes absolutely stellar plays behind the line of scrimmage, getting out of the pocket or maneuvering the pocket. There are also times where I'm like, Caleb, move.
It's the play last night that he made where
oh my gosh,
where it's an incredible play where he's dancing around the pocket and he's just swerving around everything and he picks up the first down or whatever. If he had just stepped up in the pocket a little earlier, he had a seam to just run through and pick it up easily. And it's not as flashy or anything, but could have done it. But I get where he's coming from. He's a superhero. He's just trying to make a big time play with his arm, and it was never there. So he had to make it with his feet eventually. He has unlimited stamina. He's never tired. And
Yeah,
one thing I love about him is he is by far my favorite quarterback SC has ever had in my lifetime. This ain't even close. Like I
same.
actually enjoyed rooting for an SC quarterback. But dude, he does the same stuff Dorian does, and I think it's kind of wild. Talking after the play, I'm saying. The
Okay.
way that these two, I'm not saying on the field, dude.
Oh my
Golly,
gosh, I got
gosh,
scared
no.
for a second.
No,
You
I'm
got to
talking
word that
about
better, man.
well, I was getting to. I'm talking about Caleb and DTR's just attitude. Attitude on the field is it's so similar. Is it not?
No, it is. I got scared for a second, man.
Gosh, no, no. You need to think better of me. How dare you?
I,
Both of them talk like crazy after the
which I
play. And
love. I love when a
I love
quarterback
it
has that type
too.
of swagger.
I love it too. And I know Caleb's going to keep on saying in his interviews and stuff like, I'm not focused on me, my stats, or anything. I'm here for a team, not focused on Heisman stuff. My teammates told me to do the pose and everything. Work on the pose, by the way. Let's stop with
Yeah,
the
that kind of
super
sucked.
too little. There's
Like,
a lot. Chase Brown's pose was also terrible. It's been a thing for years where the Heisman pose dudes they do it way too low. Like,
yeah, you gotta pull a Desmond. You gotta be Desmond
yes,
Howard with it. Like,
that's the
you gotta go
pose you
full.
need. Yes, and not Caleb work on the pose, but dude, I love him talking after a play. I loved against ASU. The dude squirted a water bottle at him for no reason, and then he gets on Twitter the next day and he's just trash talking. Essentially, he just posts another clip like, "Yeah, I get why you do this," and it was just him making them look silly in the backfield, and just he's
Yeah.
incredible. No, I I love that Shahan brought it up with us on our preview podcast for last week that because it's true. Caleb's like a lot of people don't like Caleb. Like he's seen as an unlikable athlete and everything, but like why?
I don't know.
He's unique. He's innate. He's outspoken. He's in incredible talent on the field. He's so much fun to watch, and he's got a great personality. Maybe those shoes weren't so great, the Grinch shoes, but I don't get
Yeah.
why people hate him. I get Oklahoma's fan base, sure, I'll get rivals too, but for the casual college football fan or just a college football fan that's a fan of, say, Vanderbilt, okay, well, there's probably like six of them. So Kansas State or Syracuse, like, why have any hate or animosity towards this guy? He's
I don't know.
one of the best players we're gonna have seen in quite a while. Like, dude's legit going for the double Heisman.
Yeah, because I think he locked it up.
I
He,
think it's locked up too.
I don't care if he loses to Utah. I think he wins the Heisman and he should win it by a good margin. Like Drake May should be top four. Another guy that should be top four. I don't even want to get into this game. Bryce Young needs to be in the top four.
Yeah, he should probably be back in there because the Alabama team was disgusting and he had to put up with Bill O'Brien all year.
Yeah,
But I
and
just hate that we have to go quarterback all the
but
time at big
the
squad, big
quarterbacks are
squad.
deserved though.
I know.
Like there wasn't a
And
really if Jordan Addison played the entire year, you can say possibly with his
if
stats he would.
Marvin got the volume,
But that's the
because
thing. When you're on
Riley
a team
was
like Ohio
like,
State where
I
there's going to be
know.
other talent, it's tough for a receiver to like take him. Like the reason Devontae Smith won the Heisman, yes, he was incredibly talented. Jameson Williams got hurt.
Yes,
So there
yes,
goes all
yes.
his
I
volume, and
know.
now it's going to Devontae. Devontae is an insane player, and he completely deserved that Heisman. But Jameson getting hurt,
Late entry, Michael Penix.
I don't think anyone's going to want to vote for a quarterback that lost to Arizona State.
Yeah.
It's tough, but like, I mean, if who would be the biggest Heisman candidate that wasn't a quarterback? No one on defense. No defender really like
No,
Will
just
Anderson did not live up to the expectations that we gave him. Granted, they were probably
they
unrealistic.
were too high. Like to have to replicate that is pretty
That's
insane, and it just goes to show what we all think and
yeah,
know of Will Anderson. That he's a superhero on defense. Like
yeah,
he's still an elite player. He's still one of the best players in the country. He still should be a top three pick, no doubt
yep.
about. But for to expect the replication of an out of this world season in which he probably should have won the Heisman is pretty ridiculous.
I'm trying to think of any non-quarterback Heisman. I can't think of any.
Yeah, I don't know if
I
it
don't
was
think there's a
there this
running back
year.
worthy. There's running backs worthy of
I
Heisman
think
votes, not Heisman
yeah, Bijan
consideration.
should get votes.
Yeah, Bijan will get votes. I think that Bijan's
Dwayne
going to get.
McBride, if he had a game against LSU, or if he even just had a game, the opening game, because there probably was not a more productive running back week to week than him. I
Uh,
mean,
yeah, probably. I mean, there were weeks where Chase Brown went silent. You can make the
Chase
arg you
Brown,
can make the argument for Corum, but I don't
the
like
offensive
giving running
line should
backs
get it.
Heisman votes because a lot of what they do is so reliant on offensive line play. Because
And
you can see a
scheming, yeah.
super talented offense, a super talented running back have an awful offensive line, and he's not going to be able to do anything. Think of what
Yeah.
Najee in his rookie year with Pittsburgh. That line was awful, and they've pretty much ruined him. Najee is not the same player anymore.
No, he's not at all.
And I feel bad for him because he's a great kid. Awful offensive line. I can't talk because it's so bad. Awesome talent, and now he just like doesn't look like the same player.
Speaking of doesn't look like the same player, Spencer Rattler's turned into a different beast in the last few weeks, and he is feeling
Yeah.
himself. There is nobody that could ever get to the confidence level that Rattler has when he is feeling himself. He has just slayed Tennessee and Clemson in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah. We should
Shane
probably keep
Beamer, Shane Beamer got something going.
we should probably keep this quick because we've been going for a long time.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Oh, how
but
long?
uh, probably like an hour and a half.
Really? Oh
Uh,
gosh.
in that
Okay. Well,
range, maybe
then let
close to
me
like
just say.
let's
Then let
just
me just say.
run through these.
Shane Beamer's gonna have a really fun team next year. A South Carolina that is gonna have a lot of preseason love, and Antoine Wells finally getting the ball in these last two games and getting big
Took them
wins.
long enough.
Interesting correlation there. Antoine finally gets the ball. The juice is there, and now they're winning big games.
Yeah. I
Finally.
I do wonder about a guy that has really stepped up over the last few weeks, Jaheim Bell,
Yeah.
which
I
he was
just
a
their
tight end. Now
offense.
they're giving him the ball as a power back.
Yeah, it was always in the cards for him to be kind of a flex for them, but I don't think they utilized him very well until these last few. Like I truly like this is a South Carolina team that went 8-4 and they underperformed. Like again, if you remember preseason talk, this was a team that I thought could finish second in the SEC East. And like, dude, if they played better offense at the beginning of the year, like they were there. They had a good enough team to do it. They just didn't scheme well at all. Like
Yeah.
we weren't getting Antoine Wells the ball. Jaheim Bell was being completely underutilized and just bizarre stuff.
Yeah.
Oregon State. I think Oregon State, like I saw Shahan tweet and I hate saying it, but they're a quarterback away.
They're a quarterback away. They've got so many talented players on the offensive side of the ball, so many talented players on the defensive side of the ball. It's like a team that has, you know how we say the Giants are like a quarterback away, and I hate to
Yeah.
bring up Marky's team. Oregon State's a quarterback away from like
But where do
being the
you
second
go?
best team in the
Yeah.
Pac-12.
Where do you go?
The portal.
I know, but who?
You got to find somebody because Oregon State's not a
Are
big
we
enough brand
thinking
to get a big name.
FCS? Are we thinking FCS transfer up
Lindsey,
for his 14th year?
uh, like
The
who
name
else
that
could you
comes to
get?
my mind is William and Mary, Darius Wilson, lefty. That's who comes to my mind.
That's a
That
possibility.
he's already got the fit of playing for a running team in William and Mary. He's gonna do that there at Oregon State. You just gotta rely on him to throw the ball a bit, but I think he's got the throwing talent. I just don't think it's been seen enough.
Yeah, and we'll get to see him next week when William and Mary plays their first playoff game.
Udinsky from Richmond?
Eh, I don't know. I'm not as educated as you on FCS quarterbacks, but I don't know. Obviously, I don't think Scott's an option. I don't even think he has eligibility after this year.
No, there's no way. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be fun to see where Oregon State goes.
Do you-
I have no idea.
I don't think it's going to happen. Do you think
Oh my
Gronowski could
god.
transfer?
Oh, that's a decent one. I don't think he would. I was gonna say Sam Heward from
Oh,
Washington.
uh,
Another lefty. Yeah, and he's out of the cards. He's out of Washington. Ain't gonna play him, dude.
Yeah,
I think that ship has sailed, and that was seen when he was QB3 this year.
I don't know, but or you know what? Maybe they get a high-rated recruit that isn't getting playtime at another school. Like LSU's got a bunch of quarterbacks that they're not gonna be able to play everyone.
Yeah, I just
Maybe
don't
like
know any of those. I just don't know those dudes.
yeah, I don't know them either. I'm not gonna act like I follow LSU's
Recruiting
recruiting
stuff.
path, but
But Damian Martinez is gonna be a monster at running back. That's an NFL dude, 3-star recruit, just killed it as a freshman. Like offensive line play is always going to be good under Jonathan Smith, and they have a stingy defense. They have one of the
huh,
better defenses in the conference this year. You ever just go out and come back from 21 down to Oregon without throwing the ball one time?
yeah, uh,
Wild. And
I,
Corvallis is a tough place to play. Like
insane.
if
That
they get
student
a
section
quarterback,
was lit.
all the cowboy hats too was
All,
hilarious.
and I just love the color orange when it comes to college football. It's such a great color.
Oh man, if they
Clemson
find a
doesn't do it well though.
quarterback.
Clemson's orange.
Oh,
DJ.
no, I was gonna say Morris from TCU
I feel like he would
because
stay in
maybe
that like Texas area.
I guess then ask for Sam Jackson from TCU.
DJ. I don't hate that.
Do you go to Taylor Green at Boise State?
I don't think he's leaving Boise State. I also,
That's fair.
I don't know. I think that's a good spot with the Civil War to leave it.
Okay, you don't
But
want to talk Apple Cup?
Apple Cup, look, man, Cam Ward is so talented, but he needs another year. Like Quincy Avery
Yeah.
said, he his ball placement, he has some amazing throws. He also has some where it's like, you gotta hit that, man. You gotta hit that.
Mhm.
He's got some decisions. The 2-point conversion, that's just a blunder. Where you literally have the ball in your left hand. If you put it in your right hand, you get the
He
2-point
did it
conversion.
twice.
Yeah, he did it twice, and one was for a first down, and he didn't get it. It's just
Yeah.
mental. Like he just
Um.
needs to mentally develop, and that sounds bad, but
No, it
quarterback's a
just
mental
like
position.
yeah, it needs some help. Like it's little things that he needs to work on, and if he
Yeah,
fixes the little things and goes into 2023 working on those, I mean that's scary. That's the Cam Ward that we're looking forward to
yeah,
seeing is the
uh,
one that works on the little things and could absolutely erupt with the arm talent that he has, the escapability.
bro. Behind the
Like
pocket, there are not two quarterbacks better than him behind the pocket or behind the line of scrimmage.
yeah, like
There's Caleb and who?
I mean
I don't
Cam,
know.
do you
They,
stay on the West Coast with no, because I Dorian got better at it with throwing the ball
Dorian's
away a
also
little bit
done.
more, but yeah, oh
I,
yeah, I know.
I'm
I
talking
thought
about going
you
into next
okay.
year
Yeah, then
because I would
Caleb.
put Bryce ahead of him, but
Oh yeah, then that's fair. Yeah, then Caleb can
yeah. Uh, but man, he's such a talent. Him and Anthony Richardson need to stay at least one more year.
completely agree.
What else is there that's
I mean Georgia
notable?
Southern bowl
Heck of a
eligibility
game.
being App State in double
App
OT,
State, what a
storm the field. App State had one of the worst seasons in program history, and they beat A&M this year,
which by the way,
and
not
should beat North Carolina.
no,
Maybe,
no.
maybe.
You give up 60 in a game, you don't deserve to win.
He scored 60 in the game. Maybe you deserve to win. I'm
Not if your
just kidding.
defense gives up more than your offense
Dude,
scores.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But no, I mean, App State in a year where they hosted College Game Day, won on a Hail Mary and beat A&M prior to that, and they had
Yeah.
the worst season in program history and won't go bowling. That's terrible.
You know who else isn't?
They
You
won
know who
4
isn't
games
bowling?
against FBS competition this year. That's unacceptable.
You know who's not bowling? James
Hmm.
Madison.
Garbage rule.
Stupid rule. James Madison should be bowling. St. Thomas should have just won a playoff game yesterday.
Oh
NCAA,
yeah, we
fix your
should
trash.
probably we should bring up FCS playoffs real quick and then we'll go. Akron, by the way, getting a massive win. Good for them. That was one of the best things from the weekend. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're 2-9, but they just beat Northern Illinois by 32.
Yeah. I'll
Um,
start the FCS.
yeah,
Montana. That cannot happen.
that's an incredible win.
It's an
They
incredible
can't be in
win.
that spot, I know, but that's a significant comeback win. That man,
Bro,
if you take that momentum into next week,
no, they're getting whooped next week.
I
They
agree.
are
I
getting
agree. I agree.
killed.
I agree. I'm taking NDSU easy.
I will take NDSU spread and alt it up to -24. Also,
We're in
NDSU, if you're listening,
agreement.
please accept my media credential request.
Hey, he's waiting. He's waiting. Please
Yeah.
accept mine, Frisco, if the national championship is NDSU, SDSU, because I want to go. New Hampshire, Fordham, as expected, there was no defense. Fordham just got broken a few
Yeah.
times too early, and New Hampshire held their serve.
Yeah. Couldn't keep up with New Hampshire's offense, or I shouldn't say they couldn't keep up with their own defense. That was a great win for New Hampshire. That's gonna be a heck of a game between them and Holy Cross.
I think
That's
I go New Hampshire.
I I don't know who I'm gonna pick yet. I don't
Okay.
know. I think I might lean Holy Cross, but New Hampshire definitely has the momentum. Uh, Davidson, you didn't deserve to make the playoffs.
No, it got close for Weber stay at the end, but
They got up so early in like the middle of the second quarter. They let North Dakota back into it. That makes me a
Idaho,
little scared about Weber State, Montana State. It makes me a little scared that maybe the Wildcats can't beat the Bobcats.
I still think they can. I don't know.
I think they can. I think Weber
I
State's a
still think they will.
if they play like they did in the first half, they beat Montana State.
Yeah.
But the way they played in the second half, Montana State probably wins.
Yeah. Gardner Webb scoring 52. Very cool. Big time
Not very
win.
surprising though,
No, we both had them. They were actually underdogs in that game, like
which shocks me.
+4, I think. And then Idaho, we could leave it on there. Brutal.
Hayden Hatton, man, like such a talent. 209 receiving yards. Giovanni
Yeah.
McCoy, great quarterback. He had a blunder late that kind of put Southeastern Louisiana in it, but you can't ask for a much better season as an Idaho fan. You have a lot of hope going to next year, a lot of talent. Giovanni McCoy, that dude's a stud.
Yeah, man. We both were so high on Idaho in this playoff. Both had them going on a bit of a run.
You had
And
him winning
Haddon.
one game.
Oh, okay. I
You had
only
him
have
losing to
them one
Samford.
game. Yeah, my bad, my bad. I almost had them going on a bit of a run, and Drewster had them winning a few more. My bad, my bad. But
Yeah,
Aiden Haddon ends his season with 5 straight games over 100 receiving yards.
yeah.
Is he a
And
transfer guy?
I think you have to look at him. I mean, you know what? Arizona State, if you're recruiting guys on the West Coast, I
This dude contested catches.
and Hayden Hatton's from Arizona. He's from Scottsdale. Get him to Arizona State right now.
Kenny Dillingham coached at Chaparral in Scottsdale.
You know
There's
what,
your
man?
connection.
I'm
But
calling it
Hayden
right
Hat's
now. Hayden Hatton's in Arizona. He's an Arizona State Sun Devil next year.
go for it. That's a good way to end things. A little prediction there.
Yep, that's a great way. And when it hits in about 2 months, get this clip out. Make me look
Yeah,
like a genius.
my bad. I did not know we ran that long. That's poor. We were just talking coaches for so long and good football, and we appreciate you.
Yeah.
Regular season went by too quickly. What can you do? Bowl season coming up. Conference championships next week. All fun stuff. Please make sure to subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, Twitter, blah 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 blah. See you. Thank you for watching.
Bye bye. As I click the record button.